What's up, brand builders? Stephen Hurahan here at BrandMasterAcademy.com, and in this video you're going to learn what brand heritage and brand origin is, so you can understand the value of history and tradition to evoke nostalgia and earn trust. Now, if you're new to the channel and you want to build brands that go beyond the visuals using strategy, psychology, and creative thinking, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you want to fast track your results, make sure you grab the Pro Brand Strategy Blueprint. It's a free download and the link is in the description. Now, the term brand heritage is pretty self-explanatory when you consider that heritage is just a synonym for the word history. Now, Oxford Dictionary describes the term heritage as the history something has had for a long time to be considered part of its character and who it is. So what is brand heritage specifically? Well, brand heritage is the history of a brand. So it's the traditions that a brand has, where it's come from, the journey that it's been on, and the types of things that it's done along the way, the reputation that it's earned. And what brand heritage does is it tells the consumer a bit about the brand. It tells them what they're about. It tells them about the philosophy of the brand and why so many consumers over so many years have trusted and invested in this brand. So why is brand heritage so important? Well, when we consider how easy it is to start a business today or start a brand today, there are so many more businesses and brands being started today than there were even 10 years ago, let alone 50 years ago. So every year that goes past is a year that modern brands outnumber traditional or heritage brands by a significant number and a significant ratio. So heritage brands are a bit of a commodity, and as time goes past, that commodity becomes more and more valuable. So why is heritage considered such a competitive advantage? Well, that can be summed up in a single word, and that single word is trust. Heritage brands, or brands that have been around for decades or even centuries, haven't survived because they've produced poor quality work or they haven't looked after their customers. They've survived because they have looked after their customers, because they have produced great quality work, and generations of consumers have gone back to them time and again, and that's why they're still here today. So any brand with a long history suggests that they're around because they've done right by their customers and they've produced high quality work. And that is exactly why it is such a competitive advantage, because we tend to lend our trust more easily to brands that have that long history and that have that connection back to the old world. So why is heritage branding so appealing? Well, in short, it evokes nostalgia. Now, in today's modern age, pretty much everything is online. We live in this digital world. We're on the phones all the time. We're on our laptops, our screens all the time. We really have been sucked into this digital world. Most of us today spend a lot of time in front of the screen. Me personally, I spend all day in front of the screen, and I know that most of my friends do as well. And there's this tangibility that has been lost that's kind of created this void. I know me personally, and a lot of people that I know really have this fascination and attraction to old world things, things that are tangible, things that you can touch, things with a sense of tradition about them that evoke this nostalgia, that make you feel like, you know, that's something that you would have seen many years ago, whether it was back in the 80s or back in the 60s or, you know, back in the 1800s. So that connection to the old world really evokes this sense of nostalgia, and that's a really deep emotional connection that you can make with your consumer. So let's take a look at a brand heritage example with Hermès. Now, Hermès is a luxury fashion brand that has been around for many, many years. It's been around since 1837. It was created by Thierry Hermès in a time when people were riding around on horses, and that's what he created. He created saddles and other leather goods, other travel goods, and that brand has been in the family now for 5 generations. It's still in the Hermès family tradition, and they have this philosophy of product, not a philosophy of image. And that sense of craftsmanship is really part of their tradition. It's part of their history, and it's part of their brand heritage, which makes them so appealing. Now, another example of a heritage brand is Penguin Books. Now, Penguin Books was created by Alan Lane back in the 1930s, I believe. He was a young publisher at the time, and he was waiting at a train station, and he stepped into the train station bookstore to get a book, and everything from his perspective was expensive and mediocre. So he realized that there was a gap in the market to produce a line of books that were much more affordable and a much higher quality price as well. And everything about that origin story speaks to nostalgia. The old train station, the bookstore, you can smell the steam engine, you can smell the books, and you really get this sense of tangibility from that history and from that origin. And you know, that sense of tangibility is still there with Penguin Books today. So it's a really great example of heritage branding, but specifically an origin story that has this old world feel about it. Now look, not every brand has a 100-year history that they can simply tap into. As I said in the beginning of the video, heritage brands are becoming a very rare commodity, but there's more than one way to tap in to nostalgia, more than one way to tap into heritage. If you can align your brand with a certain type of ideal or philosophy or an era or a tradition, then you can tap into the added advantage of that tradition, that added advantage of that sense of heritage and nostalgia, and you might just make an important emotional connection with your audience. If you want to learn more about emotional branding and our brain's ability to take that emotion and store it to memory, then this video will help you out. Until next time, brand like a master, and I'll see you in the next video.